Hello, Misfits, and welcome back to the world of Aurelia. You are listening to episode 4 of the current campaign. Unfortunately, due to some pretty tragic technical difficulties, the majority of the audio from this game was lost. But, luckily, I am something of a storyteller, so I'm gonna do what I do best and try to recount the events of our last game. Okay, so the last time the party was together, they had just started their night watch on the Moonshadow Express. During the first watch, Karok heard footsteps from up above, so the entire party went to investigate. On top of the train, on top of passenger car 1, they found Lyrissa Lorne. Except, after having brief discussion with her, pretty quickly found out that she was none other than Lilith Lightfoot in the flesh. She essentially revealed that she's known Hush for a long time, and she was hoping to steal the orb that she somehow learned was aboard the train. But it also seemed like she might not fully understand its significance or what taking such an object could do. Before the party could really question her further, a scream was heard coming from the back of the train. The party rushed in that direction, some stumbling a little bit on the way. They head to the first economy car, and the passengers inside quickly told them where the sound was coming from and to keep going. And so they went to the next economy car. In this second to last car, the party came across a gruesome sight. All the passengers had been killed, and the train car was filled with spined devils, all seemingly being led by Sheridan, Teophilia's long-lost half-elven friend. The party immediately started to fight them. And actually, they did a really great job. The devils went down fairly quickly. Sheridan went down. Nobody got seriously injured. But in the aftermath, the party noticed that there were still sounds of combat taking place from some other portion of the train. They found out that they had been locked out of the rest of the train and had to break down a door just to get to where the sound is coming from. And that's where they saw it. They saw the Drow noble, Jean, and his bodyguard in the cargo car, in the midst of a huge fight with Quest and Orthok and the other Platinum Shield members. They saw his form shift and change to that of the green-cloaked man, and they saw him slap his hands together and cause Vice Admiral Quest to disappear. And this is where our last game begins. A big fight broke out. It was a rush to get to the cargo car, to get to where the orb was, and to get to where Orthok was. And it became clear that all the passengers that used to be in this economy car were actually bad people. All spellcasters in nondescript clothing. The party worked their way through this economy car towards the cargo car, some nearly falling in the process. All the while, remaining Platinum Shield members were falling and dying. Orthok was getting battered and hurt, at one point being put to sleep. But the party pressed on. They made their way into the cargo car, and at one point, Tonari cast Fireball, hitting pretty much every bad guy in that car, including the bodyguard for Jean, or the green-cloaked man. After casting Fireball, the flames sort of burnt away the bodyguard's head coverings, revealing that he is none other than Konari, Tonari's brother. What was strange is that he had no expression of recognition on his face. The fight continued, and at one point, Konari cast a spell that injured Tonari. After doing so, he went limp. He fell to his knees and sort of just became catatonic, staring off in the distance. Around the same time, the green-cloaked man also gained possession of the orb. He took it, he pocketed it, and seeing that his bodyguard was now useless to him, he left. There was an attempt to counterspell his departure, but it was unsuccessful. After he left, the remaining enemies began trying to separate the train cars, stranding the party in the portion of the train that lacked the engine. Fortunately, the party was able to dispatch of these remaining enemies and keep the train intact. Shortly after this fight, just a little bit of searching revealed that Sheridan's body, was missing. Also, Quest reappeared, having been banished for some amount of time. Around this time, the party also found the small construct belonging to Escher. He looked battered and kind of, I guess, injured or harmed in some way. But he was there, and he was on the train. The party took him back to Escher, and through a sort of complicated pantomime, the construct sort of explained that he possibly got in some sort of scuffle of some sort. He mimicked the emotions of being thrown. He sort of pantomimed having to grab a hold of something and then hide. He also demonstrated fear of Konari as well. Nevertheless, Escher seemed grateful to have his construct, Piddlewick, back in his care. The party also sort of checked in with some of the other passengers on the train, seeing Mary and her kids. After a little bit of talking, they came to realize that Mary is perhaps the widow of the late pirate Simon. Perhaps that more of that will come up later. There were also some threats and flirtations from Lilith as well. Hush was pretty nondescript about why he was doing what he was doing, possibly implying that it's just for money. Then again, it's generally difficult to communicate with Hush, so. In the morning, the train made its way to Ebenmeyer finally, though before leaving the train, there was one last sort of check-in with everybody, and an insight check was rolled against Escher, which led to a whisper. I won't say what it was, but there was an insight roll there. In Ebenmeyer, all the passengers aboard the train were taken into custody by the Order of the Platinum Shield, at least for some sort of questioning, and the party also went with them to their headquarters. They met with the leader there, and that's where we stopped. So, not the best way to recap a session, not the worst. Hopefully we'll get all of these kinks worked out before our next game. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but hope this summed things up for you, and I'll see you next time.